Good evening. Welcome to the December 12th, 2022 Board of Education regular meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Hi.
Hi.
Ante,
Here.
Livingston,
Here.
Monsell,
Here.
Parsons,
Here.
Rolowitz,
Here.
Teterich,
Here.
Savage Williams.
Here, thank you. All right. The first item on the agenda is written communication. Dr. Davis, do we have any written communication?
We have no written communication this evening. Thank you.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is items for information. The first item is student recognition. We're going to recognize Olivia Olson, a Chessman Club Community Service Leader Award.
Thank you, Madam President. We are recognizing Olivia Olson tonight, and I just thought, I attended the Chessman annual gala, and I heard all of these wonderful things that our student Olivia was up to and has been up to, and I said it makes perfect sense to bring her to the board and to recognize all of the amazing things that she's been doing. And tonight, we've decided to do that. So Olivia, if you could just, why don't you just come to the podium, and I'm going to read all of the wonderful things that the Chessmen had to say about you, because she's got awards within awards, recognizing for other awards that I would like to share with the board tonight. And because our agenda is what it is, I'm just going to take our time and kind of lean into all of what you've been doing for our community. Is that all right, Olivia? Yeah. Sure. Cool, great. So Olivia is a sophomore here at Evanston Township High School. She's been a 3-sport athlete, playing golf, basketball, and softball for ETHS. Additionally, she plays travel softball for Evanston Express. She's also a student ambassador, serves as the photographer for the Evanstonian, is a part of the Community Service Club, a member of the Black Student Union. She's a straight-A student, was inducted into the Freshman Honor Society, and received both All Academic and Ultimate Wild Kid Awards from the Freshman Girls Basketball Program last year. In addition, Olivia works part-time for the City of Evanston on the City Youth Advisory Committee. Olivia has been active in community service since she was 6 years old, participating in projects through the Chicago's Honeycomb Project, where she received her 20 service project pin. In 5th grade, she started her first project. Olivia's Pink Lemonade and Pink Ribbon Cookie Stands, where over the last 5 years and 5 stands outside her home, with the 6th to be held Saturday, October 22nd. She's raised approximately $13,000 for the North Shore Kellogg Cancer Center in response to her mother having gone through breast cancer treatment at the center. Her efforts with regard to this project and other community service resulted in Austin, Texas singer-songwriter Jen Hartman Luck writing a song entitled Lemonade about her service work, which is part of the CD Raise Your Voices of Songs, written about young change makers from across the U.S. with funds from the downloads going to a part of the Kellogg Cancer Center. During the pandemic, we're not done. We're just getting started with Olivia. Wow. During the pandemic, Olivia remained very active, trying to help serve others in a way, including tutoring via Zoom for 3 to 5 kids in grades and K through 6 in math and other subjects once or twice a week for free throughout 2020. She also continuously biked around Evanston, creating chalk drawings, leaving messages of encouragement. She created care packages for the CTA Garage, her father works at, collected holiday cards for seniors, and served as a pen pal for several seniors throughout the pandemic. In June of 2020, after seeing many people struggling financially, she began collecting hygiene items, then started her second ongoing hygiene kits for Evanston underserved. Since her first distribution in July of 2020, she has continued to distribute kits initially several times a month and now 3 or 4 times a year, with her latest distribution in September at the C&W Markets food distribution on a Saturday. She donated nearly 2,800 kits, all made in her living room, over 10 Evanston and Chicago organizations during the last 28 months, but is now working solely with the C&W Market. I'm going to keep going. For her efforts, she was awarded a National Point of Light Award and was added to the Point of Light Honor Roll in the summer of 2020. And in 2021, she was honored with the Chicagoland Jewish Child and Family Service Extraordinary Adolescent Award, also with the Future of Evanston Award from the Evanston Chamber of Commerce and Northwestern. Fall of 21, she was acknowledged for her efforts with the Illinois State Senate Certification Recognition from State Senator Laura Fine. Wow. Olivia has started her second year serving the Girls Play Sports Youth Advisory Board, where she has helped organize and present at 2-day conferences and a field day. In part due to her efforts of the GPS board and through lessons in playing golf herself, she initially noticed a lack of girls and kids of color playing golf, and thus Olivia decided to launch her third project, Diversity Golf, last spring. She applied for and was awarded the Community Service Grant from Cradle to Career to help pay for supplies and launched a local search for donations of golf clubs, which resulted in 15 sets being donated for use during her clinics. She held at putting a chipping station during the District 65 PTA Equity Fest in June and held free golf clinics for campers enrolled in Fleetwood Jourdain Summer Camp 2 days a week during the month of July. She was purposeful in asking local golfers, primarily girls and women and men of color, to serve as mentors and instructors during the Diversity Golf clinics, so that it was clear that golf is not just for the rich white men, which is often the perception. Since the summer camp, Olivia has been chipping and putting a booth at the local Evanston West End Market in September, and was hoping to hold several indoor clinics over the winter, possibly work with District 65 to bring diversity golf programming to elementary school students. She is also planning to hold more clinics in conjunction with the Evanston Park District camps next summer. For her efforts as both an athlete herself and for her efforts to expand athletic opportunities for girls and kids of color, ETHS Athletic Director Chris Levatino nominated her for a one-time honorary ESPY from ESPN last summer in honor of the 50th anniversary of Title IX. And Olivia was selected as one of the 5 winners from across the country to receive an honorary ESPY award. Olivia will be on the cover, and her service story featured in the book Leading the Way, 7th in a series set of books about young change makers written by Minnesota author Stacy Bauer, who interviewed and selected Olivia amongst other kids from across the country who are making a difference to be interviewed in the series. Leading the Way will be available for purchase on Amazon and bookstores and libraries in December of this month, and she is incredibly humbled and honored to be a part of that series. She loves speaking about her work and has been interviewed and featured in Chicago Tribune, the Daily Herald, Chicago Parent Magazine, Good Morning America Online, NBC5, ABC7, Evanston Roundtable, Good Black News, and amongst others. She's also spoken at events and has been a guest on local radio, TV shows, and national and local podcasts. In her free time, I don't know how you managed to do that, Olivia, she loves to hang out with her friends, listen to play music. She plays the flute and guitar and loves photography, art, especially creating origami pieces, all of which she has locally sold through Evanston Made, a YBK dog shows. Olivia is looking forward to attending college in 3 years and is planning on becoming a biomedical engineer. She is grateful for the support she continues to receive from her Evanston community for her projects. Please, let's congratulate Olivia Olson. And would you like to recognize anyone here tonight, Olivia?
Sure. I'd just like to recognize my parents and you all. I really appreciate everything my parents do for me. I couldn't do any of this without them, and I really appreciate all of your support. But then on another note, I actually brought you a book.
Oh, you brought me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I brought one for Dr. Kinsey, too, which I will
Okay.
be dropping off at her office because I signed the wrong book. But that's okay.
Well, why don't you come around, because we want to give you either a fist bump or shake your hand and offer you a pen, because you have just been a transformative person throughout this community, and, we're wishing you all the best and all the support, and I'm going to get to one of those golf clinics, like I told you.
Awesome. Here's your pen.
Thank you.
You all feel free to stay, and if not, we're not offended if you decide to leave, okay?
So if that's what you do in the first 15 years, oh my goodness. We're going to keep an eye on you. That's amazing.
Really exciting. Thank you so much for all of what you do. It's so impressive, so very impressive. So our next item is also very exciting.
Not after that.
I'm going to ask you to go up
Not
and
after
stand.
that. Are you kidding me?
No,
Are you serious?
no, I am serious. So we're recognizing Monique Parsons, who was also honored by the Chessman Club Community Service Leader Award.
Well, thank you. Are you serious?
I am. Yeah, because I have to give you the pen. Yes.
What do you want me to do?
Just stand and listen. Okay, board, I'm going to hear about this.
I'm not following you like this.
All right. So I have just a little something to read about Monique Parsons. And I also was able to be at the Chessman Gala, and it was an amazing event. And Monique just gave such a graceful, beautiful, beautiful speech. One of the best I've heard, actually. But Monique Parsons, her pronouns are she and her, is the president and CEO of the McGaw YMCA in Evanston, Illinois, a leading nonprofit committed to strengthening community by connecting all people to their potential purpose and each other. A passionate and experienced nonprofit professional for over 30 years, Monique has been a keen advocate for youth, and her community impact work has included careers in juvenile justice fields and in various settings like the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago, Ford Motor Company, and the YWCA Evanston North Shore. Monique began her career at the McGaw YMCA as Vice President of Programs in 2005 and became Chief Operating Officer in 2012. She was appointed as McGaw Y's first woman and first Black woman president, CEO, in 2018. Under her leadership, McGaw launched the Y Readers and Y Achievers signature programs to focus on addressing youth literacy, college access, and systemic inequalities. She was instrumental in the creation of Metamedia, a digital media center and maker education program at the Y for middle school youth, designed to partnership with Northwestern University. She partnered with the pre-K-12 school district to help increase access for local youth to attend the WISE Camp Echo and school-age programming. Additionally, Monique worked to transform the WISE single occupancy men's residence program into a thriving, supportive housing community that includes case management and wraparound services. Currently, as president, CEO, Monique leads an amazing and committed team of over 275 staff who are focused on broadening the YMCA's reach and services throughout the Evanston community to meet the most pressing social needs. Part of this visionary work includes the Men's Residence Renovation Project, a community-wide effort to raise $12.6 million to update the residence facilities in the historic 1000 Grove Street building to provide safe and modern living spaces that speak to each resident's dignity and privacy. In addition, Monique is helping to lead the WISE national effort in becoming an anti-racist, multicultural organization by ensuring the McGaw WISE is actively participating in national YMCA racial equity cohorts like the Boys and Young Men of Color, which is BYMOC, an initiative which focuses on reducing school truancy and chronic absenteeism, improving graduation rates, and helping Black and brown boys and young men of color establish career pathways to ensure their economic mobility. A lifelong Evanstonian, Monique is a recognized and respected leader and youth advocate in the community. She has connected people from all walks of life, especially throughout her nearly 8-year tenure on the Board of Education for Evanston Township High School, District 202. In this role, she leverages her voice and vision to center Black students and families, especially Black boys and young men. She advocates on their behalf by addressing a broad range of justice issues, from racial equity to community violence. She recognizes the impact of her role and actively applies her lens as a Black mother and grandmother to courageously lead with her heart and speak her truth. In both her professional and volunteer roles, Monique works each day to collaborate with school and city officials, community partners, youth, and family to create welcoming, inclusive, and positive spaces throughout Evanston where young people are recognized, affirmed, respected, particularly those who have been historically excluded. Monique has been nationally recognized as a facilitator, speaker, thought leader through her work with the African American YMCA's CEOs Network and other YUSA communities. She is an alumni of Leadership Evanston, which honored her dedication to strengthening the community's safety net through health and human services work. In 2019, she received the Evanston North Shore NAACP Recognition Award for Outstanding Community Engagement. Monique holds a BA in Sociology of Law from the University of Minnesota. Her passion for youth development and mentorship extends both from and to her own son, Emmanuel, and her grandson, Zier. Thank you, Monique, for all you've done. I invite you, Monique, is there something you would like to say? I know she's really going to give it to me.
It took me 50-something years to do that. No, I mean, I'm humble, you know.
Yes.
So I don't do anything for this. This is not where I feel comfortable. So
I know.
I don't have anything to say, but thank you. And let me go back to my seat, do my work.
You can come around. Yes. You're welcome. All right. So yes, this is a great way to start a meeting, isn't it? It's an excellent way to start a meeting. All right, thank you, Monique.
Thank you.
All right, so moving right along. The next item on the agenda is the Certificate Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report.
All right, thank you. So Kendra, you have the award over there, that have the plaque. Yeah, you want to hold it up?
Wow.
So the Government Finance Officers Association has awarded Evanston Township High School, District 202, the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for having met or exceeded the program's high standards for financial reporting and accountability. 18 school districts in Illinois and 422 school districts across the country received this award in 2021. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government, accounting, and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by our government and its management. The district has received this award for 13 consecutive years. So, all right.
Awesome. Congratulations to you and to your team. Thank you.
Special shout out to the team. Couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Yeah.
and thank you to you all.
Right. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So the next item is report on connecting efforts to support BIPOC boys and Black girls.
So, board, I'm pleased to introduce Janae McAlpin, Tony, our equity director. I think this is your first time presenting to the board, Janae, is it? Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have Lauren Hamilton, our equity analyst, and also Brother Terrence Stevenson, who's coordinating our mentoring efforts and also holds a position up in the hub. And this is I want to call it a new effort, but it's definitely something that we are being intentional and strategic about as we think about mentoring for students. And this is the very beginning of this work. It is definitely ongoing, dynamic, and the goal for us is to build a robust infrastructure for mentoring for ETHS students. And without any further ado, who am I turning this over to first? All right, Lauren, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Good evening, everyone. It's really exciting to be able to sit here and speak with you. I usually come and see you in June to report on our social consciousness series, so this is quite a treat. As Dr. Campbell set up for us, the three of us are here to just let you know about some of the really hard work that our educators and community partners are doing to support our students at ETHS who exist at identities that are often marginalized in our society. And like he said as well, this is an ongoing project, and so we're here tonight to let you know what we're up to and to get some feedback, ideas, food for thought as we continue this work. Thank you, Janae. So what we'll do is we'll introduce a little bit of who we are. We will let you know what we've been up to with the council and the Shades program for Black girls, and then where we hope to go and get some of your feedback. And so often at ETHS, it can be really easy to be siloed and work individually to do the things that we know we need to do for our students. And so last year, returning to school after a year of pandemic, racialized uprising and tension, a lot of economic struggle in our communities, Dr. Campbell felt it was really important to get folks at a table and make sure that we were all on the same page about the students we were supporting and how we wanted to continue to enhance those efforts moving forward. And so I'm going to let us introduce ourselves and then we'll get into it.
Hey, everybody. My name is Janae McAlpin-Tony. I'm the Director of Equity here at the district. I've been at the district since 2012 as a history teacher, and I am very excited about my new role, so thank you.
Good evening. My name is Terrence Stevenson. I am a new transplant to the Evanston community. My family and I, we moved here last August, and my wife holds a position at a nonprofit organization here in town, and I am so fortunate to serve our students in the hub on a daily basis, and yeah, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you.
And then I'm Lauren Hamilton. I started my journey here at ETHS after graduating from college right down the street at Northwestern, 2016-17 as an intern in the Community Engagement Office, and then worked closely with Marcus for a few years as equity analyst, and now I support Dr. Kinsey directly as her assistant. And now that we have a director of equity, I get to work with Janae and see her face all the time. So, all right, we're gonna have Terrence go over some of our work with the council.
It's been an exciting journey to coordinate these activities as a team. Last year, I was new to the community, and working with young men in the hub, I started this group called the Check-In, and it was simply an opportunity and space for young men to come and have conversation about things that matter to them. And so initially, it started with a bunch of the football players and basketball players, and then some other students started finding their way in. And initially, we started talking a lot about football, basketball, sports. Who's better, Jordan or LeBron? Of course, I said Jordan because I'm right. And, but it was a great dynamic. And out of that, after about 2 or 3 months of that, the conversations changed. They switched to conversations about relationships, about race, about how they're viewed in this space. And so I didn't try to correct them or tell them that they were right or wrong. I just wanted to provide a space for them to share. And so out of their sharing, a lot of the things that they would share tended to center around not being seen. They felt that their views were not valuable, that their input was not welcomed. And so I decided to just continue to share the information that they were sharing with me, with Dr. Campbell and other administrators in the building, so that they would know that there's young men there are young men here who are here who have voice, who have needs, who have concerns. And yes, they may walk the halls, and yes, they may hang out in the bathrooms, but they're still valuable. And so out of that, it kind of morphed into this mentoring relationship where several of the young men have ventured off and graduated and are at different universities across the country, one of which is at my wife's alma mater, the University of Illinois. And I went to a function there, and he was there. And he literally ran across the room. Mr. Stevenson, Mr. Stevenson, Mr. Stevenson, this is my roommate. This is the dude I've been telling you about. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be at the University of Illinois. And the joy that resonated within me, having played a small role in him being able to matriculate at the University of Illinois successfully, I can't find words for it. And so in conversation with Dr. Campbell, we had conversations about the other mentoring initiatives that are available and active in the city. And so the Boulé, they're here every week. I believe it's every Monday. The Kappa League, they're here. And the Black Men Lead, it's a partnership between us, ETHS, and Northwestern University. But there are other community organizations that are playing a role in this as well.
That leads us to caring for our Black girls. So earlier this year, in conversation with Dr. Campbell, he said, hey, we need something for our girls. We We said, yeah. And so at first it was going to be for BIPOC girls, but we decided to make this program specifically for Black girls. And the purpose of Shades is to prepare young women for life after ETHS through different types of programming such as self-love, self-care, academics, social interactions, and self-advocacy. So the first thing that we did to start this organization was get a bunch of Black women in the school together to talk about the needs of our students and how we may be able to assist with whatever they may need in terms of support going through ETHS. And so we got together, we looked at some other models, and we decided on a couple of things that we like. We like to do it the ETHS way, so we kind of just build it from the ground up ourselves. And so we had the staff recommend students to be a part of the organization, and we ended up having about 100 girls being recommended to us. When we had our kickoff, we ended up having about 25 girls show up, which we were really, really excited about it. We had a catered lunch for them. We had a bunch of the women in the school there to support them. They completed a survey when they were there. We talked about what they want to see within the group. How do they want things to go? What kind of programming do they want? And really trying to make efforts to make this program exactly what our students want. And the mentors were pretty much selected through word of mouth and also talking to Black Caucus. But we are also looking for other mentors in the building for the number of girls that we hope to get in the future.
Thank you so much, y'all. One of the things I wanted to say is it's amazing what Black women can do when you put us in a room together. And it's been wonderful just to exist in space with other women at ETHS who I don't get to always see and get this mentorship program off the ground and really build it with the girls. And then the council is more about bringing folks together who already have those programs and those models built to make sure we're capturing as many students as possible in their work and filling in any gaps in service. So now, short presentation, we want to open it up to you all to give us any ideas, feedback, things to think about as we continue building this program for the girls and working with our partners for the boys.
So I'll start. So I'm going to report in a little bit on the joint conference for the Illinois Association of School Boards. And one of the sessions that I attended was by Dr. Bolton, Doug Bolton. I don't know if you know him, but he did a session on rethinking our response to school violence. And had some really good pointers. Much of what you're doing, Terrence, as I heard you talk about, really making sure that these young men and the girls really recognize that they have a space here, that they're valued, that this is an important place for them to be, that they belong here, and what belonging means. He talked a lot about that. So there's a report that will be a part of our board work, and his slides are in there, so I would encourage you to look at it. Although I can't say that I went to that session thinking, oh, there's so much we're not doing. But I don't ever want to get to the point where I think we got it. We're doing it all. Because as long as our youth struggle, then we have to keep finding ways that we can support them. We have to keep being creative and looking at what more can we do. So I really appreciate what you're doing, and I just encourage all of us to keep asking that question: what more can we do?
You want to go? No. Excuse me. Well, first of all, it's nice to meet two of you. I've been a fan of Lauren's for a long time, but it's nice to meet both of you. And thank you. I think, one of the things that, as we've been on our equity journey in the school and as a board, the thing that I always think about, and I've had many conversations with Marcus over the years, is getting more specific, that we're dealing with a systemic problem that has many roots, but yet getting to the very specific, whether it's in curriculum, whether it's in relationship development with students. To me, that is a critical piece of building the answers, right, for those individual students as well as the whole community. So I'm really thrilled to hear about your work and excited that we want to be supportive in any way to it. One question I had was, and it sounds like it's there, but, Lauren has done a lot of this really terrific work of bringing the student voice in, because you ask us, a bunch of old people, but in my experience, asking the students is really a great way to learn and build on the great work you're already doing. So I just wonder, do you have regular ways to incorporate their voices and learn from them in terms of how you move forward and build?
I can speak to that, and then I'll share with my colleague. Tell you a really brief story. I moved my family here last August from Champaign, Illinois, and I was connected with a group of individuals that were supporting a really troubled neighborhood. There was a neighborhood that was riddled with violence, with crime, and the city for months, through money, through police, through programming at this situation, to no avail. And so myself and a few other individuals decided to go door to door to ask the people who live in the area, what do you need? What would help address your specific situation living in this community? And the strangest response came from an overwhelming number of households. Streetlights. Because when it gets dark, crime goes through the roof. The city decides to put in streetlights, lit the neighborhood up at night. Crime dropped 60% in the first month, another 30% in the succeeding months. It was transformational, something that simple. So one of the things that I've been doing is, for some reason this year we haven't received a lot of traction in getting boys active in the check-in. So what I've started doing is just simply meeting boys where they are. And a lot of times that's in the hallway, and probably one of the most informative conversations that I held with students this year, boys, was in the bathroom when they were supposed to be in class. Why are you here? What's going on? What's going on at home, and what's going on with you in this space that's preventing you from addressing your academics in an intentional way? And they started sharing things. They started talking about, man, I don't eat before I come to school, so I come here hungry. Or because I walk through the halls, the safety target me. That's what they're feeling. And so having conversations around those things, to me, allows us the ability to gain trust with them so that we can then introduce them to more successful ways of navigating ETHS.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terrence.
You're welcome, Assistant.
And just in regards to the Shades program, we're just getting started. So when we had our initial lunch meeting, all the girls filled out a survey where we asked them about things that they would like to see, when would they like to meet, just really all different types of questions about programming and how they would want the program to actually run. And I think the reason behind asking for you all's wisdom is because you all are out here in the community. You all know what young people need to be successful in this community. And so I think that it's really important that we do ask you all what you think and if you have any opinions, so that we can work intergenerationally to help all of our girls and our boys in the district.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. Yeah, this is my topic, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always interested in, trying to come at this. I think it is important to explain why this is important, because some people hearing us or, may not know why we are making sure we're creating this purpose for our girls, our Black girls, or why it's important for you to connect with our Black boys. Because I will tell you that on this board, we have committed to being the year of the Black male for couple of years while I've been here. And what you're saying, or what you shared with us, Terrence, about how they felt, has been here for generations, literally.
Yeah.
And I'm less invested as I get older in another program, right? And I'm always concerned about those that are not on the radar. And I'm a mother of a student that was an athlete here and captain, and so he was on everybody's radar. And he had the best experience. But others that looked like him felt exactly what you said. And that was a problem for me because they didn't experience my son's experience being here. So I'm concerned about those that are off the radar and that are slipping or have slipped. And I'm concerned about this falling on you. When our students should experience that connection everywhere they go in this building. And so it is a problem when we have not created a framework and said, this is how we're going to change the atmosphere and make sure that all of our students are feeling like they are seen, they are valued. I can't even imagine being, well, I do. I know what it feels like to be invisible. But, for someone as young as the students that we're responsible for, this is where it starts, and then it lingers, right, into their adulthood. And so it is, I would push you to figure out what the framework should be that should be immersed inside this entire school of how we do that, because I also have the audacity of thinking that what we do at ETHS will be replicated in the community, right? So I believe that. And I believe we could probably get it right before anybody else, right? So I'm for any organization that wants to come in and do what they can do because it takes everybody, but I'm not for another small drop into their life and then they're gone, right? Because the kids we're talking about, they've had that experience way too many times where there's been this mobilization of volunteers coming and mentors and then boom. And so we have to figure out how to change this system that has for years and decades in our community made pretty much our Black boys feel invisible. And so that's what I'm hoping, that this is just like the beginning, but that you're pushing to challenge the systems that are in place that are making our students feel this way, because this is their home, right? This is the place where they should feel comfortable. And we know they do because they come, but then they hide out, right? Or we have people that are judging them based on where they live. So that's all. I would just encourage you to push this to be a little bit more bolder in how we can address the systems that are impacting our students.
Thank you.
I really appreciate what you said, Monique. One of the things I want to give Janae her flowers on is being an educator through and through, and she has a lot of experience with working with our newer teachers, with Evanston Educators Academy, and I think one of the ways to combat the pervasiveness of anti-Blackness that our boys and girls are faced with is working with our teachers. I think there's still a lot of fear of our young men that is impacting their experience day to day. And so I think that's a front that we have to continue to really work hard on. And it's not just on the Black folks sitting up here, right?
Right.
But I'm really grateful to have Janae and just another thought partner in the way we do professional development, PD here, and giving folks that experience to humanize these students, which Dr. Campbell has been talking about for a while, and Dr. Kinsey as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's for everybody, all staff, because everybody here is an educator and a teacher. So, Stephanie.
I have a question, and I so appreciate this, just what you're doing. It's beautiful work, and it's very moving and very important. I'm also wondering about who are we not reaching when we talk about BIPOC students. And I honor and respect the focus that we've had on Black boys in particular, and extending it to Black girls. But I'm also thinking about Latinx students who are tracking on a lot of our reporting academically similarly. And so I'm wondering, are you in discussions about programming or ways to reach Latinx students who are also invisible, and in particular, perhaps undocumented students?
Yes, we are. So Shades is actually going to be the umbrella term for our mentoring program. And so right now we're working on Shades of Black. So we're working with our Black students. And as soon as we get that going, we are going to be working on Shades of Brown. And that'll be working with our Latina population. And we've already been in conversation with a bunch of different Latina staff who are already on board to do that work. So we're just starting with the Black population with Shades, and then we're going to do the Latinx population with Shades.
I'll be honest, I have not connected with any other populations, primarily because the students, it's kind of a triage situation. And so it's not that I'm not as concerned about other students. It's just that these are the students that look like me. I've got a son that's in the school in District 65. I've got two daughters that are students here at ETHS. And it's not that I'm not concerned about any other students. It's that I have some very closely held beliefs about students. And I believe that students should have a voice in their own, in the solutions that are developed around them. And so I'd love to partner with other communities that you or someone could bring to my attention. But right now, it's triage with these boys. And it's not to say that other communities don't struggle. It's that these boys are because if you play it forward for these young men, the outcomes aren't successful. They're not beautiful. They're not happy endings. And so I'm just trying to play my part, play my role in developing relationships with them and allowing them the space to say what's on their mind. And however harsh it may be, however criticizing it may be, I want to allow them the space to say that, because they should have a role in saying what happens to them. And so if they're having issues with safety or they're having issues with teachers, they should be able to have the space and the dignity to speak on their behalf. And I think that's true for all populations. But at this time, I'm triaging.
And I certainly didn't, again, I'm completely respect. A lot of this work is incredible labor, and I wasn't pinpointing you as the representative of this work, but I'm speaking maybe more broadly to the community.
And there's support around our Latinx kids that's happening in some other academic areas like math and English with some very specialized programs that's not listed here tonight. So all of that work is happening. And as Janae just mentioned, there's a start beginning with the recidivism that we've been seeing with some students in some places in the school, starting with our black girls, but definitely reaching out to our more Latinx community for some other mentoring efforts. But the work is happening. It's some racial affinity work in math and some other core content areas is happening for our Latinx students as well.
I'd love to hear a report on that at some point, just about, just how are we hearing their voices as well. And I think it's a great approach. I think, having one-on-one conversations with students and giving them the space to express what they're feeling and what they need is really such an important piece of this that it seems we could certainly do it broadly with other marginalized populations.
Thank you again, and thank you for keeping us informed. This is very important work that you're doing, great work that you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to coming back to update you in the future.
Can I say one thing? We know, or I know, in our community that there is a certain segment in our community of students that are struggling. We hear the reports. We absolutely know what's happening. I know what's happening with our girls. I'm in conversations with our city officials, so I absolutely know what's happening across this community, not just at ETHS, but then they soon become students at ETHS. And I am concerned, deeply concerned about our Black students in Evanston. And so, which is why I think the why is so critical for you to communicate, because we are, you called it triage. I think we've heard that before. It is, at this point with some, not all, because there are definitely Black students who are achieving and doing remarkable things. So we're not talking about all of them, but there are students where if we don't intervene, it's a matter of life or death. And that is how bad it is for a certain population in our community. And so I think really honing in on the why and being unafraid to share that so that everyone is aware why this is so critical will be important as we move forward. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Our next item is district goals discussion. We have been putting this on our agenda every month, just to make sure that we stay in touch. I have been in touch with the ALMA group, and via email. We haven't been able to actually talk yet, but they are aware of our needs, and I reached out, told them a little bit about what we've done in the past, and but I'm interested in hearing from them what they think, what other options they have, because we don't have to do it that way. So I will be in touch with Monica. I'm hoping to be in touch with her before winter break. I told them that I was hoping that we could have some type of closure on this, like in March. Does that make sense, Gretchen?
Yeah, I don't have any strong opinions on timing. I was just going to suggest that because Alma was our consultant in the process of the superintendent search, and they did all sorts of work with focus groups around both the job description and then the interview process, that I would think that, revisiting some of that material in connection with our goal setting would make a ton of sense. I mean, both in terms of sort of cost savings in our work with Alma. They don't need to do all those things again, so that we don't have to pay them to do all those things again. But also, there's things that we can draw upon that may not have been the kinds of things we were thinking about previously or in the usual kind of goal-setting process. So when you have those conversations with Alma, I would be interested to hear how they can integrate that prior work into, sort of segue right into the goals process.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean, I
absolutely
just
right,
think
yeah.
that would really
Yeah, we
help all of us.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have a lot
Right,
of information, and Monica acknowledged that. So, yeah, we've got that. Any other thoughts, questions? All right. So we are at comments from the public. Dr. Davis, do we have any comments from the public?
Yes, we do. We have a comment from the public from Mark Baer. I'm just going to read the quick little intro. Speakers have signed up for public comment will be invited in the order that they signed up. We just did that. They are welcome to speak for up to 3 minutes. I will keep time and signal you at the end of 2 minutes as a courtesy. I will also let you know it's time to stop at the 3-minute mark in the event that becomes necessary. Speakers are asked to come forward and speak at the lectern. Please state your name and address. Public comments generally pertain to school district matters, but comments about any individual are expressly prohibited. Please understand that the Board of Education does not respond to public comments, but will listen carefully and will follow up as the board deems appropriate. And with that, we have Mark Baer, our public comment for this evening.
Sorry, I'm just looking for the note, which disappeared. Let me see if I can remember. It's about security and a lot of my concerns about security. I did want to start off, though, by congratulating Dr. Campbell on your position as superintendent, and I really enjoyed the videos during COVID. I thought those were great. So there have been now 2 instances of loaded weapons found at ETHS. That's obviously very concerning to me as a parent. I have 2 students here. And some of the comments I read in the paper, I was quite unhappy with, and I'm not sure if the paper didn't give the full story. But one was saying how, Dr. Campbell, they said that you had said that having security, having metal detectors as you enter the school would give a false sense of security to the students, which made no sense to me. I mean, we use them at the airports all the time, so I don't understand how that correlates, if that's a correct statement they made. The other one was someone had commented about, well, he had it for security. I think it was one of the board members. And that, again, I don't care why the kid had it. It was a loaded weapon. It was in the school. So, again, that's the way the newspaper said it. So I don't know, again, if that was totally accurate. But my concern is now there have been two incidents in which armed, loaded weapons were found in the school. And it's a sad comment on our society today. I mean, sadly, guns are everywhere. The city of Chicago has, I think, if I'm right, I thought it was in the 80s they instituted metal detectors. And I don't really want them, obviously, and I know my kids don't want them, but I think for safety reasons, that's just what we have to do. I don't see any other way around it. You can't change society. You can have all the idealism in the world, but you have to deal with reality, and this is just the reality of how our society is now.
One minute.
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. And that concludes public comment for this evening.
Thank you. All right. Okay, the next item is FOIA. There are, I guess, four. Yes.
Yeah, there are four FOIAs. Hooper, 2 from Smith, and 1 from Cole, and the responses are in your packet.
Okay. All right. The next item is board committee reports, and I'm hoping that we will go to having a written report. So I wrote a report for the joint conference, and I already gave part of it, so hopefully this won't be as long. But the 89th meeting of the Illinois Association of School Boards, the Illinois Association of School Administrators, and the Illinois Association of School Business Officials. That's why they call it the joint conference, because there are 3 groups. This meeting took place November 18th through 20th in Chicago. It's an annual event that brings together Illinois school district leaders who are committed to providing students with the best possible educational experience. There were 694 public school districts represented and 4,780 registrants. So it is a big conference down at the Hyatt, and then they use other hotels. This year was very different for me. There were more sessions regarding and addressing equity than ever before. In addition, the conference offers school board leadership training, including presentations on topics like educational funding, crisis response, school law, collective bargaining, fiscal accountability, school safety and security, student assessment, local governance, social emotional learning, and more. There was a session that they called All for Equity, and it was Friday afternoon, the entire afternoon, All for Equity. It was their first ever equity immersion event, and it was really good. There were guest speakers, there were table conversations, it was well organized, and they covered issues that were important to school leaders. The topics at the equity immersion aimed at ensuring the needs of each and every student are met, regardless of existing factors that create barriers to student success. I also attended a presentation by Dr. Carmen Ayala. Is that how you say her name? Ayala. I always struggle with her name. She's the Illinois State Superintendent. I know she's retiring, but she presented on the equity journey continuum. And that's an important informational tool for districts to track their progress toward closing the gap of student achievement. And then I already mentioned Dr. Bolton, Doug Bolton, who was very good. His session was titled Rethinking Our Response to School Violence, and recognizing that this is sadly something that needs to be addressed. And he just really emphasized the research to inform practices of promoting safety with ideas of looking upstream to connect with students who are at risk. And I already talked a little bit about belonging. He defines belonging as the feeling that we're part of a larger group that values, respects, and cares for us. So that's really important. He says belonging does two things. It opens our brains for learning, and it buffers the impact of stress and trauma. Finally, I was the district's representative for the Delegate Assembly, and the Delegate Assembly is an annual meeting where school board members vote on proposals submitted by local school boards. It gives me an opportunity to hear from other districts what's important to other districts, and some of these districts are just very different than our district. And there's a report. It's too much for me to give this report, but there's a link in my report so that you can go to that report and look at their report. So I was oh yes, and I got some goodies for all of you. I started taking stuff. Yes, there's one for everybody. Is that?
Thank you.
I love these. These are pens with highlighters. I just love them. And then I picked these up.
No
So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
All kind of goodies.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Board meeting notes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, just turn me loose and
Yeah, thank you.
it's like, yeah. All right. So that's my report. And then our next is the student board report. So, Nicole.
Hi, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. I saw a couple of you all today during school all day. So I think it's pretty crazy, or not crazy, it's a coincidence that today's meeting has been centered around student voice so much. I think it's just such a coinky-dink. We had our student voice forum today that was led by the student union. Last time I saw you all, I was talking about planning and the table topics for it. And today, it finally happened. So I got to school bright and early, 7:30, and we started setting up. It was a great time. The first couple blocks were really great, and as we progressed in the day, some people got tired, and it was a little more distracted, but we had some really thoughtful conversations. Students were really engaged for the most part. We did have to push some students. I kind of had to stop by and be like, hey, what are you talking about? But it was a great time. There was one period especially, which was I think third or fourth period, where we had a lot of members of the leadership team stop by. It was really great because all the students were so engaged. The administrators were also so engaged, and I saw them taking notes furiously. Like the paper was like, they were just going and going. It was really, really great to see. Also, personally, I was watching people talk about their experiences in school, and it was just so emotionally powerful for me. It just sparked some more in me to make some more change in our community, and also listening to all the achievements that Olivia has conquered also really inspired me, and I'm just looking forward to a great future for ETHS, and I think that the students are looking forward to that too. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Campbell.
Thank you. Yeah, let me start with that, Nicole. We had a great day today. Dr. Kinsey and I held the Student Voice Forum. We were present all day. Got a chance to eat lunch, and I think there were over 600 students, 800, thank you, Nicole. I was going for the conservative side, but thank you for 800 students today. That's nearly a quarter of the school came by today to share on a number of topics regarding safety, lunch. There's so many other topics, homework, race equity, our LGBTQ plus students. I mean, there were just so many topics, and it was a really, really constructive and an instructive day. And when you say so, Dr. Kinsey, yeah.
I was going to add, Dr. Campbell, just as a quick segue, it was an amazing day, and it was all led by students. So the fact that Nicole was just giving props to all of, our student union, which has been amazing. Nicole was the voice.
The voice.
Right? And somehow she's still able to talk at this point. So it was a really powerful day.
Yeah. And so safety was one of the topics, and our school continues to think about and grapple with safety concerns and how do we address them. Last week, the administration, Dr. Kinsey and myself, provided an update to our staff and students and parents where we briefly outlined building upgrades and steps we're taking internally to support a safe school environment. And the full update of that is available on the ETHS website. What we know is that a safe Evanston makes a safe ETHS. This is why our collaboration with the city and our community organizations is so important. I'm having conversations wherever I go about safety and students and how they get to and from school. And last week, our new police chief, Chief Shanita Stewart, hello Shanita, joined us for our all-staff meeting where she was able to speak directly to some of the questions. And we appreciate the chief's time and commitment. I also had a meeting with the city manager, Luke Stowe, regarding our concerns around safety in the city. And will be more to come out of that. Our students were grappling with this today too. Of course, not wanting guns in the school, but also understanding the complications around metal detectors and lines and what that means for school, not wanting school to feel a certain way. And there are a lot of varying opinions on that, some to which differed from their parents, to which they shared that today. And so we got a lot of good feedback. So we will continue to look for ways of deterrence, which includes sophisticated detection systems, weapons detection systems that can maximize both our well-being and our humanity. Meaning that, is there a way that we can detect weapons without having metal detectors? We're certainly looking at that as an option for our school. And let me just say that there is not a single solution here. We must get to the root of why a student would may not feel safe in our community, and we must approach this from many angles. Every student in Evanston has a right to feel safe. So we've said this many times before, we can't do this alone. So next month on January 19th, our community talkback event will be held in Spanish at St. Nick's. Also, you may wish to contact your alderperson or attend a ward meeting as we continue to talk about these issues, and we will be responsible in the days and the weeks and the months ahead regarding this very important topic.
Yeah, we actually talked about coming together and bringing community leaders together to really have a conversation that's different than the conversations that have been that have been taking place in the community, that we would really want to talk in a way that we are talking about solutions, steps, actions. So we will select a date. At this point it will be in January, but we'll select a date. We'll have to pull together a planning committee. We'll probably ask some of the administrators and Dr. Campbell to be on that committee, and then we'll invite the leaders. We want the leaders to be invited because we want this to be at a different level.
I know you usually don't comment on the superintendent's report, but you're more than welcome to have any questions or comments for her.
I'm curious, what did the students say about security?
And feel free to, Nicole or Dr. Kinsey, to chime in. Many of them reported feeling safe. And then some say that if there are weapons found in the school, that certainly makes them feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And students also reported around the complications around metal detectors, not necessarily wanting them, but understanding the need for them. And then I asked one student today, I said, if you were the superintendent, what would you do? And he said, get to the reason as to why a student wouldn't feel safe in the first place. And I said, well, that's exactly what we're doing. But there was an overwhelming, from my experience, to all you all can correct me today, that students understood that many implementation challenges around metal detectors and what that does to erode a certain aspect of our culture and climate at ETHS. And some students said that, you know, kids are going to do not smart things, and there's not much the school can do about that. You know, so there were a range of responses, but some, as I said, some students feeling a sense of safety and feeling safe at ETHS, but having a loaded gun in the school is certainly unnerving. Is that your experience, what you all listened to?
Yeah, I would agree, and a really consistent response about feeling safe in classrooms, right? And recognizing that some students don't feel safe in the community, and some do, and that there is inequity within that, and so we heard that from students. And also the recognition, you said this, Dr. Campbell, that some students feel differently than their parents do, and that they want to feel safe in the school, and yet recognize that they've stated, several did, that bringing in metal detectors would actually make them feel the opposite of safe.
Right.
And the struggle that they're having with that kind of tension, and what that means, and how it would make them feel differently about school itself.
Right.
I like the idea of exploring other options.
Yes.
Other options. You know, I know that we are just at a place now where we really have to take a very close look at this. But I would just love it if we could really think about other places and how it's being done.
Yeah.
And I know you said you're doing this, Marcus, which is, I think, great, but getting at the root causes, why people feel unsafe, why they feel the need to protect themselves, and what are those reasons? And so addressing that with the individual students or our students at large, but also maybe helping the community understand. Because I think Gretchen made a really good point at a board meeting a couple months ago about a conversation she had with a white neighbor who didn't feel connected to this violence because, you know, it didn't impact her family directly. And I think, you know, people of goodwill sometimes can overlook things. And I think we have to help the community understand the broader implications of the issues that our students are facing, which are enormous. For some, unbelievably enormous. But in general, I think our students as a whole are at a very different place. I mean, COVID and the violence we watched on TV during COVID, just to name a couple of things. So I think in addition to supporting our students with that information, helping the community understand that information, I think would be really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Teaching the community. Yeah.
And feel free to join us at these community talkbacks so we can continue to do that. And if we need to hold forums here, in talkbacks or whatever, here, we can certainly do that. But it is about education, right? And informing the community on the many complexities of what goes into this. It's certainly something that we're doing it through our existing structures. And if we need to do anything in addition to that, we will certainly do that as well.
All right. Okay, thank you. So moving on with our agenda, we're at items for action. The first action item is the adoption of fiscal year 2022 tax levy. Could we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ante,
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Monsell.
Yes.
Parsons.
Yes.
Rolowitz.
Yes.
Teterich.
Yes.
Savage Williams.
Yes. The next item for action is the consent agenda, which consists of approval of minutes for regular and closed sessions for October 24th, 2022, and regular and closed sessions for November 14th, 2022, approval of bills and personnel report.
What is it just?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yeah, I know. And this is consent agenda, right? Okay. Okay, Ante,
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Monsell.
Yes.
Parsons.
Yes.
Rolowitz.
Yes.
Teterich.
Yes.
Savage Williams.
Yes. All right. The next item is old and new business. Do we have any old or new business? I would just want to make the board aware that Thursday and Friday in this very room, Dr. Campbell and I are going to be facilitating Beyond Diversity for Cradle to Career leaders, right?
Community leaders.
Community
who
leaders.
registered through Cradle to Career.
Right. So that's exciting. Yes. Right. Closing or polling the board. Anything else?
I just wanted to say that have a wonderful break, even though it's a couple weeks off. We won't talk to people, but to our students and to our staff, because everybody, this has been a long semester, and we're really proud of all the work that you've done, and you deserve a break. So hopefully you'll get a full 2 weeks with your feet up. So enjoy.
Yeah, we won't be back together until 2023. Right. So to the board as well. Have a
To the
good
board.
break. To the board. Oh my
Are you
gosh.
going?
Yes, Hamilton. All right, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good. So we are adjourned at 9:07.
Brownies on the table.